There is no silence in the grave. That is the first lie they tell you about death. They tell you it is the end of sensation, the final quiet after a lifetime of war. They are wrong. I am buried in a coffin of ceramite and adamantium, suspended in a tank of amniotic fluids that taste of copper, old oil, and something rancid that I try not to identify. I have no eyes, yet I see flashes of colors that do not exist in the material universe. I have no ears, yet I hear a constant grinding cacophony. I have no lungs, yet I am drowning. But the worst part is not the fluid. It is not the darkness. It is the breathing. In the claustrophobic absolute of my sarcophagus, I can hear 3 distinct patterns of respiration. The first is mine, or what remains of mine. It is a phantom rhythm, a memory of biology that my shriveled, atrophied brain clings to. Inhale, exhale. I force the thought of air moving through lungs that rotted away centuries ago. I hold onto the rhythm like a drowning man clutching a piece of driftwood. It is the only thing that proves I am still Brother Crastus. It is the tempo of the Iron Warriors, cold, methodical, enduring. The second breathing is the machines. It is the deep tectonic thrum of the fusion reactor mounted behind my spine. It is the hiss of the hydraulic pump cycling the fluid that keeps my few remaining organs from liquefying. It is a heavy animalistic sound, a growl of dormant power and sullen rage. This is the machine spirit. We call it the beast. It does not like me. It tolerates me because I am the pilot, the wetware CPU that directs its hate. It is old, bitter, and stubborn as a mountain root. And then there is the third breath. It does not come from the tank, it does not come from the reactor, it comes from inside the meat of my brain. It sounds like a wet rasp, like a tongue sliding over dry teeth. It is fast, manic, excited. It sounds like a predator sniffing the air before a kill. It is the thing, the demon, the scratch. Wake up, little Iron Man, the voice whispers. It doesn't use words, it uses neural impulses that translate into concepts of mockery. The meatsmiths are coming. They have brought the lightning. Do you feel them? Get out, I think. I project a thought with all the discipline of a veteran legionnaire. Iron within, iron without. The demon mocks me, repeating my legion's creed in a voice that sounds like tearing metal. But you are not iron without, are you, Crastus? You are soft meat in a hard shell. And I am right here, in the marrow, with you. I try to focus on the void. I try to meditate. But the sarcophagus is a crowded room. The machine spirit grumbles, a low-frequency vibration that rattles my skull. It senses the demon too. It hates the intruder. The Dreadnought chassis was built on Mars in the days of the Great Crusade. It is a creature of logic and physics. The demon is a creature of unreality. Their coexistence is a violation of every law of nature, and I am the glue that holds them together. I am the battleground. They are here, the demon giggles. The sound is like static, screaming in a vox channel. I feel it then, the external vibration, the clang of heavy tools against the outer hull of the sarcophagus, the muffled chanting of the dark mechanicum warpsmiths. They are not praying for the machine's blessing. They are commanding its obedience. They speak in scrap code, a language of corrupted binary that hurts to listen to. It feels like someone dragging a serrated knife across the surface of my mind. The waking rites have begun. Usually for a loyalist dreadnought, back when I was just a warrior of the Iphiath Legion, before the universe broke. Waking up was a solemn, holy ritual. Tech Marines would anoint the chassis with sacred oils. They would chant litanies of awakening. The neural link would engage with a clean, sharp click, like a bolter racking around. It felt like putting on a glove. It felt like becoming a god. Here, in the Eye of Terror, waking up is an assault. There is no oil, there is no reverence, there is only voltage, crack. The first shock hits the external couplers. It bypasses the safety limiters and surges directly into the amniotic tank. The fluid conducts the electricity instantly. My shriveled torso spasms. My heart, a lump of scar tissue and machinery, stutters and slams against my ribs. Pain, white-hot, blinding, purifying pain. It is the only way to rouse the machine spirit. The beast is deep in a dormancy cycle, dreaming of oil and slaughter. It does not want to wake up, so they torture it until it snarls. Yes! The demon shrieks in delight as the electricity arcs through us. Feed us! Wake us! I want to bite! The machine spirit roars in response. I feel the reactor flare to life behind me, a sudden spike of heat that boils the fluid near my back. The beast is angry. It wants to kill the things hurting it. Hold, I command. My will is a steel wall. Stabilize. I am fighting a war on two fronts before I even open my eyes. I have to calm the machine spirit down before it overloads the reactor in a fit of pique, and I have to suppress the demon before it seizes the neural pathways and hijacks the body. Let me drive, the demon whispers, scratching at the back of my mind. You are tired, Crastus. You have been sleeping for so long, your mind is mush. Let me take the limbs. I promise I will make them bleed. No. I grit my teeth. Or the memory of my teeth. I am the pilot. You are the battery. I am the soul, it hisses. Crack. Another shock. Stronger this time. The wharfsmiths are impatient. The pain is so intense that for a moment I lose my sense of self. I am just a raw nerve ending floating in electrified soup. I scream, but I have no mouth. The scream echoes internally, bouncing around the metal skull, feeding the demon's frenzy. Then, the connection snaps into place. The Mind Impulse Unit, MIU, engages. This is the moment of maximum horror. In the old days, connecting to the Titan or Dreadnought felt like expansion. Your senses expanded to fill the frame. You became 30 feet tall. You felt the ground through feet of adamantium. It was majestic. Now it feels like drowning in sewage. The neural link establishes, and the corruption floods in. I don't just feel the machine, I feel the infection. The sensors act as my eyes, but the data is filtered through the daemon's perception. The visual feed flickers online. It is grainy, washed in a spectrum of red and static. Runes of targeting data scroll across my vision, but they are malformed, twitching like dying insects. I see the warpsmiths. They stand on the gantry in front of me, wreathed in the smoke of incense burners that smell of burning hair. Their robes are stained with grease and dried blood. Their mechadendrites writhe like snakes, plugging into my external ports. I try to raise my arm. I want to smash them. I want to crush the little insects that dare to shock me with their cattle prods. My left arm twitches. The massive hydraulic servo whines. But it moves too fast. It jerks violently, straining against the chains that hold me to the wall of the dropship. Too slow, the demon laughs. I moved it, did you see? I moved the arm. That was a spasm, I growl internally. I focus my will. I visualize the neural pathway to the left arm. I visualize an iron gate slamming shut, cutting off the demon's access. The arm stops shaking. I regain control. I feel the weight of the power scourge attached to the wrist. I feel the tension in the fiber bundle muscles. It is mine, but the effort leaves me exhausted. I have moved one limb, and I am already mentally panting. The machine spirit is awake now. I can feel its sullen awareness pressing against the back of my skull. It is checking systems, not because I ordered it to, but because it is hungry. Fuel levels, 89%. Ammunition, 4. Damage control, nominal. Threat assessment, all targets hostile. The machine sees the warpsmiths as targets. It paints red reticles over their chests. It wants to open fire with the twin-length autocannons. Belay that, I order the machine. Friendly units. Friendly? The machine spirit scoffs in a burst of binary static. It doesn't understand the concept of friendly. It only knows creator and target. These things are creators, so it holds fire, but the reticles remain, hovering over their hearts. One of the warpsmiths steps forward. He is a grotesque thing, more metal than flesh, his face a mask of brass grills. He speaks, and his voice is amplified through the ship's voxcasters. Unit 77 Delta Crustus. Status report. He uses my serial number. He does not use my name. To him, I am equipment. I want to spit at him. I want to tell him that I was a captain of the Eth Legion when his ancestors were scratching in the dirt of Mars. But I cannot speak freely. The demon intercepts my thoughts before they reach the voxcaster. If I try to speak, the demon will twist the words. It will make me scream gibberish or howl praises to the dark gods. I have to filter everything. I have to construct the sentence, lock it in a cage of will, and push it past the demon's lips. Systems, functional. My voice booms from the external speakers. It sounds deep, distorted, metallic. It sounds like a landslide. Ready for deployment. Ready for slaughter, the demon interjects, slipping a high-pitched shriek into the audio feed. The warsmith ignores the glitch. He taps a data slate. Good. The Hellbrute is compliant. Release the restraints. Hellbrute. I hate that word. I am a Dreadnought. I am a Castra Ferrum Perpetta Dreadnought. A relic of a more civilized age. A Hellbrute is a mutated, flesh-metal abomination. But as the chains fall away and I take my first step forward, the sensory feedback tells me the truth. I feel the floor plating buckle under my foot. But I don't just feel the pressure sensors, I feel the texture of the metal. I feel the coldness of the floor as if my own skin were touching it. The sarcophagus has changed. Over the centuries of exposure to the warp, the metal has become soft. The adamantium armor has grown nerves. The ceramite has developed pores. I look down at my own chassis. Through the sensor feed, I see the armor plating. It is not the clean, hazard-stripped iron of my memories. It is warped. Veins of glowing purple energy pulse beneath the metal skin. A fleshy substance, like exposed muscle, grows in the joints, binding the mechanical components together. I am not sitting inside a machine anymore. I am fusing with it. We are becoming one, the demon whispers, sounding almost affectionate. Closer and closer. Soon you won't need the tank. Soon the metal will just be your skin. Panic flares in my chest. This is the ultimate fear of every pilot. To lose the distinction between self and shell. If I fuse completely, I lose my mind. I become just another monster. Iron within, I recite. The mantra is my anchor. I am Crustus. I am iron. The machine spirit grunts. It initiates the walking cycle. Thud, thud, thud. The heavy, rhythmic footfalls echo through the hangar bay. It feels good to move. Despite the horror, despite the voices, there is a profound primal satisfaction in being a walking tank. I am powerful. I am heavily armored. I am death incarnate. This is the trap. This is how they get you. The power is intoxicating. The daemon knows this. It amplifies the feeling of strength. It makes me feel invincible. Look at them, the daemon urges, drawing my attention to the slaves scurrying out of my path. Little meat sacks, pop them. Just step on one. It would feel so good. A little crunch. My right foot twitches. The machine spirit agrees with the demon. Stepping on the slave would be efficient. It would clear the path. No command. I force the leg to stride over the cowering slave. The effort sends a spike of migraine pain through my optical nerves. Denying the impulses of the Trinity is exhausting. It is like holding back two rabid dogs on a single leash while trying to walk a tightrope. We reach the loading ramp of the Thunderhawk gunship. The transport is massive, a heavy lifter modified to carry siege engines. The interior is dark, lit only by red combat lumens. I duck my chassis to enter. The hydraulics hiss. "Secure for void transit," the warpsmith orders. I back into the deployment clamp. The locking mechanism engages around my waist and shoulders. I am trapped again. The engines of the Thunderhawk roar to life. The vibration rattles my teeth. Phantom teeth I no longer possess. As the ship lifts off, the sensory deprivation returns. There is nothing to see but the dark interior of the hold. Nothing to do but wait. And in the waiting, the voices get louder. The machine spirit settles into a low idle, brooding. But the daemon? The daemon is bored. "Since we have time," the Scratch whispers, "shall we look at some pictures? I've found some lovely memories in the deep storage of your hippocampus. Let's look at the Siege of Terra again, but this time, let's see what really happened." "I don't want to look," I think. "You have no eyelids, Crastus," the demon laughs. "You have to look." A vision blooms in my mind's eye, superimposed over the red darkness of the hold. It is vivid, more real than the metal surrounding me. It is the walls of the Imperial Palace. But the sky is wrong. The faces of my brothers are wrong. They are melting. I try to look away, but I cannot. I am a passenger in my own memory. This is what it means to be a Chaos Dreadnought. The battle is the release. The battle is the easy part. The true war is the quiet. The true war is the silence between the gunshots, where the monsters in the dark come out to play with your soul. I brace myself against the clamps. I recite the litany of iron. I prepare for the descent. And I pray to a god I no longer believe in that the enemy has anti-tank weaponry powerful enough to kill me today, because if they don't, I have to do this all over again tomorrow. The Thunderhawk is descending. I know this not because I can see the altitude gauges. The demon has obscured my hood with scrolling runes of nonsense and screaming faces, but because of the vibration. The atmospheric turbulence rattles the hull plates. It is a violent, shuddering motion that travels through the locking clamps, through the mutated chassis of my walker, and into the jelly-like remains of my inner ear. It is a familiar feeling. It is the feeling of the drop. For a moment, the vibration dislodges the demon's grip on my optical cortex. The scratching voice recedes, drowned out by the roar of the engines. In that brief window of silence, I do what I have done for 10,000 years to survive. I retreat into the archives. I do not think of the present. I do not think of the tentacles sprouting from my exhaust ports, or the flesh growing over my sensor arrays. I dive deep into the encrypted data stacks of my memory, searching for the before. I find a file dated M31. It is corrupted, fragmented by millennia of data rot, but it is there. Accessing memory file. Siege of Ultramar/Kelth surface/grid 99. The red darkness of the Thunderhawk hold vanishes. In its place, I see the sun. A real sun. A yellow, burning star hanging in a sky choked with ash, but still a sky. I am standing in a trench line. The geometry is perfect. The angles of the earthworks are calculated to the millimeter to deflect artillery fire. It is beautiful. It is the work of the Ivath Legion. I am not in a sarcophagus. I am standing on my own two legs. I look down and see my hands, gauntlets of iron and hazard stripes, gripping a bolter. I feel the weight of the ceramite on my shoulders. I feel the sweat running down my back inside the power armor. I feel the recoil as I fire. Thud, 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 thud. The rhythm is clean. The bolt shells leave the barrel and detonate against the blue armor of the 13th Legion. We are killing Ultramarines. We are breaking their perfect little empire. I feel a surge of pride. Not the manic, frothing bloodlust of the world eaters, nor the preening arrogance of the Emperor's children. This is the cold, hard pride of the Iron Warriors. We do the work. We dig the trenches, we bleed in the mud while others seek glory. We are the stone that breaks the blade. Iron within. I whisper in the memory. My voice is human. It is rough, tired, but it is mine. I run without my brother's answer. I see them in the trench beside me. Brother Honzu, Brother Forfrix. They are alive. Their armor is uncorrupted. They are soldiers, not monsters. This is my sanctuary. This is where I go when the demon tries to show me the warp. I hide in the geometry of the past. I hide in the logic of ballistics and siegecraft. Lies. The scratching voice returns, seeping into the memory like ink dropped in water. Look closer, Crastus. Look at the mud. I look down at the trench floor. The mud is shifting. It is turning into faces, screaming faces. You didn't fight for logic, the demon hisses. You fought for spite. You fought because your father was a petulant child who wanted his toy soldiers to break things, and look where it got you. The memory fractures. The yellow sun turns purple. The blue armor of the ultramarines melts into wax. My bolter turns into a serpent in my hands and bites me. Purge cache. I command my own brain. Delete active memory. I slam the door on the past before the daemon can defile it further. I am back in the dark hold of the Thunderhawk. The vibration has stopped. We have landed. But the demon has opened a crack in my defenses. The mention of spite drags up another memory, one I do not want to see. The memory of how I ended up in this box. Not the sarcophagus. I was put in the Dreadnought with honor after the siege of Terra, but how I ended up here, in this specific hell. The capture. It was M37. We were raiding a forge world on the edge of the Segmentum Obscurus. It was supposed to be a supply run. We needed ammunition, fuel, slaves, standard operational parameters. I was awake then. I was Brother Ancient Crastus, a venerable dreadnought of the Grand Company. My chassis was clean, scarred by battle, yes, but free of mutation. I was respected. When I walked, the lesser marines bowed. The warpsmiths tended to my joints with sacred oils, not blood. We were winning. My twin-lenkless cannons had breached the main gate of the Manufactorum. I was wading through the wreckage of Skitari defenders, crushing them under my feet like dry twigs. The machine spirit was singing with the joy of destruction. Then, the trap sprung. It wasn't the Loyalists. It wasn't the Imperial Guard. It was the Dark Mechanicum. A rival faction, scavengers from the Hellforge of Zarnak II. They had been waiting for us to do the heavy lifting, to crack the shell so they could steal the pearl. I remember the weapon they used. It wasn't a Lascanon or a missile. It was a Hayward bomb of Archaeotech design. I saw the grenade arc through the air. I tried to track it with my Auspex, to shoot it down, but I was too slow. It detonated against my chest plate. There was no explosion. There was no heat. There was only a sudden, violent silence. The Hayward pulse killed the machine spirit instantly, or rather, it put it into a coma. The reactor scrammed. The hydraulic pressure vanished. The sensors went black. I was blind. I was paralyzed. I was a man in a locked room, buried under 10 tons of dead metal. I fell forward. I remember the sensation of tipping over, the sickening lurch of gravity, and then the crushing impact as my faceplate hit the ferrocrete. I lay there in the dark. I could hear the battle raging outside. The muffled thump of bolters, the screams of my brothers retreating. They were leaving me. The Iron Warriors do not waste lives retrieving broken equipment. If a tank is tracked, you scuttle it. If a dreadnought falls, you leave it. Brothers, I whispered into the dead Voxlink, do not leave me. No answer. Just the sound of heavy treads approaching. Not space marine treads, scavenger treads. I felt the magnetic clamps attached to my hull. I felt the indignity of being dragged face down through the dirt and oil. I was salvage. I was loot. They didn't kill me. That would have been mercy. They wanted the chassis. Castroferum dreadnoughts are rare, valuable relics. They wanted the shell. I spent 3 months in the hold of their salvage ship. 3 months in total darkness, surviving on the internal life support reserves of the sarcophagus. I prayed to the dark gods then. I prayed to Khorne for strength to break out. I prayed to Nurgle to rot the locks. I prayed to Tzeentch for a key. None of them answered. But when the warpsmiths finally came for me, they brought something else. This is the memory the daemon loves. This is the memory it replays for me when I try to sleep. The ritual of binding. They dragged me into a ritual chamber. Even blind, I could feel the change in the atmosphere. The air was thick, heavy, charged with static that tasted like ozone and copper. They cut the power to my sarcophagus sensors, but they left the audio feeds open. They wanted me to hear. Subject is aware, a warsmith rasped. His voice was a grinding of gears. Neural density is high, a veteran soul, strong will. Perfect, another voice answered. This one was melodic, terrifyingly smooth. A sorcerer. The entity requires a strong host. A weak mind would shatter instantly. We need a cage that can hold the beast. I realized then what they were doing. They weren't going to scrap me. They weren't going to pilot me. They were going to turn me into a daemon engine. But not a mindless one. They wanted the tactical acumen of a space marine, combined with the ferocity of a warp predator. "No!" I screamed into the vox emitter. "Kill me! Harvest the gene seed and burn the rest. I am Iron Warrior. I do not submit." "You have no choice," the sorcerer said. "Iron is malleable when heated." I heard the sound of laser cutters. They were carving runes into the adamantium shell of my sarcophagus. I could feel the carving. It wasn't just metal being cut, it felt like they were carving the symbols into my own skin. Each line of the 8-pointed star burned through the armor and etched itself onto my soul. Hissed. The laser cut through the outer seal. Then, the chanting began. It was a low, rhythmic droning in a language that hurt the ears. Dark tongue, the language of the uncreated. The geometry of the room seemed to bend. The air grew freezing cold, yet I was sweating in my amniotic fluid. Something was in the room with us, something large, something ancient. "The veil weakens," the sorcerer chanted. "Open the gate, pour it in." They breached the amniotic tank. Usually, breaching the tank means death. The fluid drains, the pilot suffocates. But they didn't drain it. They injected something into it. I felt the pressure change. A nozzle was inserted into the feed port, and then a substance was pumped in. It wasn't liquid. It was presence. It was liquid hate. It burned. It burned like acid, like fire, like absolute freezing cold. It flooded the tank, mixing with the amniotic fluid, swirling around my shriveled limbs, entering my nose, my mouth, my ears. I choked, I gagged, I tried to thrash, but the paralytics held me fast. Then, the mind impulse unit, the neural link, was forcibly engaged. The connection opened, and the demon rushed in. It didn't enter like a guest. It entered like a battering ram. It slammed into my mind, a hurricane of screaming faces, hunger, and madness. It tore through my mental defenses, shredding my memories, hunting for the control centers of the brain. "Mate!" it screamed. "Mine! Mine! Mine! Mine!" I felt my identity fracturing. I was being pushed out of my own skull. The demon was too strong. It was a creature of the warp, and I was just a man in a jar. "I am Crastus!" I roared in the psychic void. I am iron. You are nothing, the daemon laughed. You are a husk. I will wear you like a coat. It seized control of the motor cortex. The Dreadnought's arms jerked. The weapons cycled. It was going to take me. It was going to erase me. But then, the third player entered the game. The machine spirit. The haywire pulse had worn off, the reactor had restarted, and the machine spirit woke up to find an intruder in its house. The machine spirit of a dreadnought is not a passive thing. It is a predator. It is a warrior's soul encoded in silicon and crystal. It is stubborn. It is territorial. It sensed the daemon trying to hijack the systems, and it said no. The machine spirit slammed the logic gates shut. It engaged the emergency override protocols. It saw the demon as a virus, a corruption. It tried to purge it. But the runes carved into the hull bound the demon there. The sorcery held it in place. The machine couldn't eject the demon, so it did the only other thing it could do. It locked the doors. It quarantined the system. I felt the sudden jarring halt of the possession. The daemon's advance stopped. It was trapped in the neural buffer, halfway between my mind and the machine's core. The machine spirit lashed out, binding me and the demon together in a gridlock of command protocols. It refused to yield control to the warp entity, but it needed a pilot to function. It needed me. So it grabbed me, it grabbed the daemon, and it fused us. The sensation was indescribable. It was the feeling of three souls being welded together with a blowtorch. I felt the daemon's hunger become my hunger. I felt the machine's heaviness become my heaviness. Trinity, the sorcerer whispered, his voice echoing through the vox. It is done. The binding holds. I lay there in the dark, gasping, shaking. I'm stuck, the demon whimpered in my head. I'm stuck in the meat. It smells like oil. Error. Unauthorized entity detected. Quarantine protocols active. Pilot input required, the machine spirit droned. I realized then the horror of my existence. The machine had saved me from being erased, but it had damned me to this prison. I wasn't alone anymore. I would never be alone again. Deployment in 5 minutes, the warpsmith's voice cuts through the memory, dragging me back to the present. The Thunderhawk lurches, the landing clamps disengage. The memory fades, leaving the phantom pain of the ritual etched into my mind. That was fun, the demon whispers, its voice recovering its malicious edge. Do you remember how you screamed? You sounded like a little girl. Shut up, I tell it. The bay doors open. The light of a new world floods the hold. It is blinding, filtered through the red haze of my senses. I step forward to the edge of the ramp. Below me, a battlefield burns. Trenches, bunkers, Imperial fists, yellow armor. My hatred spikes. The machine spirit roars its engines. The daemon howls in anticipation. For a brief second, we all agree on one thing. Kill the yellow ones. I step off the ramp, falling toward the earth like a meteor of iron and hate. The impact will hurt. The battle will be chaos. But for a few hours, the noise outside will be louder than the noise inside. And that is the only mercy I have left. Gravity is a hammer, and the ground is the anvil. I am the spark caught in between. I hit the surface of the planet with an impact that registers as a seismic event on my internal sensors. The shock absorbers in my legs compress fully, groaning under the weight of adamantium and mutated flesh. The earth fractures, sending up a plume of rock dust and ash that instantly fouls my optical sensors. For a microsecond, the system resets. The visual feed goes black, then cycles through a reboot sequence of scrolling red text. Gyro stabilizers. Active. Reactor output 110%. Targeting Auspex. Searching Serum. CTGZ. Autofocus. Target. The dust clears, and I see them. Yellow. Bright, arrogant, hateful yellow. They are entrenched 300 meters to the north, a defensive line of rockcrete bunkers and razor wire, manned by the sons of Rogel Dawn, the Imperial Fists, the Zevith Legion, the Wall Builders. The sight of that yellow armor triggers a chemical reaction in my brain that is older than my internment. It bypasses the logic gates of the machine spirit. It ignores the chittering of the daemon. It strikes directly at the core of who I once was. They are the enemy. They are the reason we dwell in hell. They are the favored sons who stood on the walls of terror while we bled in the mud. Target sighted, I articulate through the command link. My thought is cold, precise. Range 300, elevating twin-length autocannons, suppressing fire on the heavy bolter nest, Sector 4. It is a good plan. It is an Iron Warrior's plan. Logical, efficient, attritional. I sent the impulse to my right arm. I visualized the servos locking, the barrels spinning up, the recoil dampeners engaging. Nothing happens. My right arm hangs limp at my side. The autocannons remain silent. Boring. The voice scratches at the inside of my skull. It sounds like a child dragging a nail across a blackboard. So boring, Crastus. Shooting from far away? Where is the fun in that? Where is the wet noise? Engage targeting protocols, I roar internally, pushing my will against the neural interface. Fire! No, the demon whispers. It sends a counter-impulse, a spike of chaotic noise that jams the firing signal. The reticle on my HUD flickers and dissolves into a laughing skull. Then the machine spirit chimes in. Alert. Reactor heat critical. Venting required. Close combat engagement protocols recommended for optimal heat dispersion. The machine sides with the demon. Not out of malice, but out of physics. The reactor is running hot from the drop. Firing the guns generates more heat. Moving generates heat, but using the power scourge, the massive whip-like tentacle of cables and blades on my left arm, requires less energy than the guns. It is a conspiracy of biology and mechanics against my will. We are taking fire, I shout. A Lascanon beam strikes my chest plate. The void shields flare and collapse with a sound like shattering glass. The impact rocks me backward. The armor holds, but the sensory feedback is agonizing, a localized spot of intense heat right over my dead heart. They hurt us, the demon shrieks, its voice pitching up into hysteria. They burned us. Break them, break their shells, eat the soft meat inside. The demon seizes the locomotion drives. This is not like moving a limb. This is like being in a car where someone else grabs the steering wheel. I feel my legs lurch forward. The hydraulics hiss violently. Hold position, I command. We are exposed. Maintain cover. Forward, the demon howls. Forward, the machine spirit agrees. Close range. Purge. I am outvoted. 2 against 1. My body. This massive, lumbering tank of a body breaks into a run. It is a terrifying sensation. I am charging a fortified bunker line without fire support, bellowing a war cry I did not choose. Death to the false emperor. The voxcaster booms. The voice is mine, but distorted, layered with a demonic subharmonic that makes the air vibrate. We cover 50 meters in seconds. The ground shakes with each footfall. Heavy bolter rounds are hammering my front armor, chipping away the ceramite, finding the soft, fleshy cabling underneath. I feel every impact as a sting, a bee sting magnified to the size of a fist. I need the guns, I plead with the machine. Give me the right arm. If we don't suppress them, they will track us. Targeting solution acquired. The machine spirit drones, autocannons active. Finally, the machine grants me a concession. I feel the neural pathway to the right arm open up. I seize it with desperation. I swing the autocannons up. I don't bother with precision aiming. I just hold the trigger down. Boom, 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 boom. The shells tear into the bunker line. Concrete explodes. I see a yellow-armored Marine disintegrate in a pink mist. Good, I think. Keep firing. I turn. The demon giggles. It grabs the left arm. The power scourge. The scourge is a weapon of terror. It is a cluster of high-voltage cables, barbed chains and adamantite blades, all powered by the reactor. It writhes like a nest of vipers. The demon lashes it out. Not at the enemy, at the ground. It whips the earth, tearing up furrows of soil, cracking rocks. It is testing the weight. It is excited. We are at the trench line now. I try to stop. I want to hold this position. Use the hull-down cover to enfilade the enemy trench. It is the tactical choice. Jump! The demon commands. The actuators in my legs fire with explosive force. I am airborne. 10 tons of metal, flying through the air with the grace of a falling anvil. We land in the trench. The impact crushes 2 Imperial fists immediately. I feel their armor buckle under my feet. I feel the wet pop of their bodies bursting. The machine spirit records the kills with a satisfied chime. Threat reduced. Heat venting. But there are more of them. A sergeant. He is armed with a power fist. He is backing away, shouting orders, rallying his men. He is brave. He is a son of dawn. I respect him. I want to kill him cleanly. A burst of autocannon fire to the chest. Quick. Honorable. Targeting, Sergeant, I transmit. Firing, solution locked. No! The diamond slams a psychic wall across my firing synapse. The right arm locks up. He is mine. I want to play. The left arm, the scourge, lashes out of its own accord. It wraps around the sergeant. The cables coil around his waist, his arms, his neck. The barbs dig into the ceramite joints. He struggles. He strikes at the cables with his power fist, sparks flying, but the demon reinforces the grip with warp strength. I watch through my senses. I am a spectator in my own body. Release him, I say to the demon. Let me shoot him. Watch, the demon whispers. Watch the color of his fear. It tastes like lemons. The arm lifts the sergeant into the air. He is dangling 5 meters off the ground, face to face with my sarcophagus. I can see into the lenses of his helmet. I can see the reflection of my own twisted, mutated hull. Traitor! The sergeant spits. His voice is amplified, defiant. You have no honor. He is right. I try to apologize. I try to say, it isn't me. But the Voxcaster only emits a low, grinding, mechanical laughter. The demon activates the energy field in the scourge. Electricity arcs through the sergeant. He convulses. His armor begins to smoke. He screams, not a scream of fear, but of raw physiological reaction to nerve endings being fried. Squeeze, the diamond whispers. The cables tighten. I hear the ceramite cracking. I hear the ribs snapping. Kill him, I shout in the silence of my mind. Just kill him, you filth. Not yet. Slower, like peeling a fruit. The demon manipulates the arm with surgical cruelty. It pulls. One of the sergeant's arms is ripped from its socket. The spray of blood hits my visual sensors, blinding me in one eye. I am screaming because I am a soldier, not a torturer. I am screaming because this is my body doing this. These are my hands. The sergeant is still alive. A space marine is hard to kill. He is gasping, choking on blood. Iron within, I recite, trying to drown out the sound of wet tearing. Iron within, iron within. Iron without. The demon mocks me. It tightens the coil around the sergeant's neck. And then, with a violent, jerking motion, it whips him against the trench wall. Once, twice, 3 times. The body is a ruin. The armor is shattered. The man inside is paste. Finally, the demon drops him. The corpse falls into the mud, a broken yellow doll. The demon sighs in my mind, a sound of satisfaction. Tasty, but a bit chewy. I feel sick. I feel a phantom nausea in a stomach I no longer have. I feel dirty. But the battle is not over. The rest of the squad is firing at me. Melter guns, plasma, they are burning my armor. Hull integrity compromised, the machine spirit warns. Critical damage imminent, rage protocols, engaged. The machine takes over. If the demon is a sadist, the machine is a berserker. It doesn't care about torture, it cares about survival, and the best way to survive is to destroy the threat. It overrides the demon. It overrides me. The Dreadnought spins. The autocannons on the right arm roar, chopping down 3 Marines in a single sweep. The Scourge on the left arm thrashes wildly, a whirlwind of death that clears the trench for 10 meters in either direction. I am bouncing around inside the amniotic tank. The fluid is churning. The neural feedback is a cacophony of recoil, impact, and pain. I stop trying to control it. I stop trying to fight. I just hold on. We breach the second line of defense, a bunker. We smash through the ferrocrete wall. The impact creates a shockwave that liquefies the organs of the mortals inside. We stand amidst the dust and the ruin. The air is filled with smoke and the smell of promethium. And then, it happens. The sink. It is a moment of perfect alignment. A heavily armored centurion stands before us. He raises a siege drill. He is going to kill us. I see the threat. Tactical. The machine sees the threat. Survival. The daemon sees the prey. Hunger. For 1 microsecond, there is no argument. There is no struggle for the controls. There is only a unified, singular purpose. Destroy. I feel the impulse leave my brain. It travels down the neural link, unhindered by the daemon, accelerated by the machine. My right arm raises, my left arm strikes. We catch the siege drill with the Scourge wrapping it, immobilizing it. The demon howls with delight. We press the barrels of the autocannon directly against the centurion's chest plate. I pull the trigger. The machine cycles the ammunition feed to maximum rate. Fucking Doman. The centurion is obliterated. He doesn't fall, he ceases to exist. He is turned into shrapnel and wet mist. And in that moment, I feel it. I feel the recoil. I feel the heat of the barrels. I feel the spray of oil and blood. And it feels good. It feels better than good. It feels right. The pain of the integration vanishes. The scratching of the demon stops. The heaviness of the machine lifts. I'm not a man in a box. I'm a god of war. I am the avatar of destruction. The explosion is my heartbeat. The fire is my breath. I throw back my head, the massive armored cowl of the Dreadnought, and I roar. It is a sound of pure, unadulterated ecstasy. It is the sound of 3 souls screaming in harmony. I am eternal. The feeling lasts for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of absolute power. 3 seconds where I forget the torture, the loss, the shame. And that is the horror. Because when the centurion is dead and the dust settles, the sink breaks. The daemon giggles. See? I told you, you liked it. The machine spirit grumbles, cooling its vents. Threat eliminated, scanning for new targets. And I am left alone again, in the dark, shivering in the fluid, with the knowledge that for 3 seconds, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the slaughter. I enjoyed the monster I have become. That is how they win. They don't just break your body. They make you complicit in your own damnation. Clear the sector, I whisper, my voice hollow. Move to the next trench. The Dreadnought lurches forward. The daemon hums a tune made of screams. The machine spirit plods on. And I weep, without eyes, as we march deeper into the fire. The victory is ash in my mouth. The battle ends, not with a parade, nor with the solemn tolling of bells to honor the fallen. It ends with the dull, thudding impact of a magnetic grapple hitting my chest plate. The warp smiths have returned. They descend upon the battlefield like carrion birds, picking through the wreckage for salvageable tech. When they come for me, they do not approach with reverence. They do not bow before the ancient. They approach in a wide semicircle, weapons drawn, wary of the beast they have unleashed. Unit 77 Delta Crastus, the lead smith barks over the vox. Combat protocols, disengage, powered down, immediate compliance. I am still twitching. The adrenaline, or whatever warp-tainted chemical substitute my glands now produce, is still coursing through my system. The machine spirit is still hot, growling low in its throat, tracking the heat signatures of the scavengers. It wants to kill them. It wants to add their skulls to the tally. Kill them, the daemon whispers, tired but petulant. Just one. Bite his head off. I want to see what color his oil is. Stand down, I command. It takes every ounce of my willpower to force the reactor to cycle down. The legs lock. The arms drop to my sides. The weapons power off with the descending whine of capacitors discharging. I am a statue again. A prisoner. They do not clean me with care. There are no acolytes with soft cloths and sacred unguents. They turn high-pressure hoses on me, blasting the mud and gore from my joints with solvent that smells of ammonia. It burns the exposed flesh growths on my chassis. It stings the sensor eyes. Then come the chains. Massive adamantium links, etched with binding runes, are wrapped around my arms and legs. They drag me back to the transport, not walking under my own power, but hauled onto a flatbed loader like a broken tank. I am returned to the ship. I am returned to the cage. The containment cell is a dark, vaulted chamber deep in the bowels of the Dark Mechanicum vessel. It is cold. The gravity is artificially high, pressing me down into the restraints. There are other dreadnoughts here, other hellbrutes, hanging in the dark. I can hear them. Some are weeping, some are chanting names that make the air bleed. One of them is simply screaming, a single, unending note of pure terror that has been going on for weeks. They lock me into the cradle. They plug the power cables into my spine to keep the stasis field active, and then they leave. The blast doors slam shut, the lights die, and the silence begins. This is worse than the battle. In battle, I have a purpose. In battle, the sensory input is overwhelming. Explosions, screams, recoil. It drowns out the internal noise. But in the dark, in the quiet, there is nothing to distract me from the roommates in my head. The machine spirit settles into a sullen torpor. It dreams of oil and geometry. It is not good company, but it is quiet. The demon, however, never sleeps. It does not know how. Are you awake, Crastus? It asks. It sounds like it is sitting right next to my ear, though I have no ears. I do not answer. I try to initiate a diagnostic cycle, to focus on the rote task of checking system integrity. Hydraulic pressure, nominal. Ammunition count, 0. Armor integrity, 64%. Don't ignore me, the demon hisses. I get lonely. And when I get lonely, I get bored. And when I get bored, I go digging. I feel a pressure in my mind. Not a headache, but an intrusion. It feels like fingers pushing through the grey matter of my brain, sifting through the folds of my memory. Get out, I growled. No, it giggles. I live here. This is my house. You're just the furniture. Let's see what we can find in the attic. It pulls up a memory. It is vivid, technicolor. It is from the Great Crusade. I am a sergeant then, We are on the world of Olympia, the home of the Iveth Legion. We are standing in the great plaza of Lokos. I see the Primarch, Perturabo. He is magnificent. He stands like a tower of iron and logic, clad in the Logos armor. He is speaking to us, his sons. He is telling us of the great works we will build, the fortifications that will stand for eternity. Iron within, he says. His voice is the sound of tectonic plates shifting. I feel a swell of pride. This is a good memory. This is before the bitterness, before the degradation. Is it? The demon whispers. Look closer. The image flickers. The sky above Olympia turns the color of a bruise. I look at Perturabo's face. It is changing. The noble features are melting like wax. The eyes, those cold, calculating eyes, turn yellow. The mouth widens, stretching, tearing. You are garbage, the Primarch says. But the voice isn't deep anymore. It is a high, mocking shriek. You are broken tools. I threw you away because you were weak. You let them capture you. You let them put you in the box. No, I whisper. He never said that. That didn't happen. You are a failure, Crastus. The twisted Perturabo laughs. He points a finger at me, and his hand turns into a claw. You died in the mud. You are just a ghost haunting a toaster. The legionnaires around me in the memory turn. Their helmets fall off. Beneath them, there are no faces, only skulls, only rot. They are laughing at me. Stop it! I shout into the void of the sarcophagus. Corrupt data! Purge! The memory shatters like glass. I am back in the dark cell. My heart is hammering against the sensory cables. Hasn't. Love is a love language. The daemon whispers soothingly now. None of them did. They used you, just like the warsmiths use you. You are a thing to be used. I am iron, I mutter. I am iron. Iron rusts, the demon replies. It digs deeper. It bypasses the military archives. It goes to the soft places, the places I keep hidden, even from myself. I see a woman. I don't know her name. I have forgotten it centuries ago. Was she my mother? A sister? A woman I knew before the gene seed took me? She is holding a cup of water. I am young. I am still human. My hands are small, unscarred. I am thirsty. She smiles. It is a warm smile, a human smile. Drink, she says. I'll reach for the cup. Look at her hands, the demon says. Look. Her hands are not hands. They are crab claws, purple, chitinous, dripping with slime. I look up at her face. The skin is peeling back. Beneath the human mask, there are too many eyes, vertical slits, needles for teeth. Drink, the demonette says. The water in the cup turns to boiling blood. She throws it in my face. I feel the phantom burn. I recoil in the sarcophagus, my chassis twitching against the chains. That's not real, I scream. I remember her. She was kind. Was she? The demon asks. How can you be sure? It was so long ago, Crastus. Maybe she was a monster. Maybe you were born from monsters. Maybe that's why you belong here. I try to hold on to the image of the human woman. I try to remember the color of her eyes. Blue? Green? I can't remember. The demon paints over the memory. It turns her eyes black. It turns her skin gray. It changes the memory file. Save changes? No. Changes, saved. The memory's gone. The corruption is permanent. Now, when I think of her, I will only see the monster. The demon has stolen my past. It is rewriting my history one file at a time. I feel a profound, hollow ache in my chest. It is the feeling of losing something you can never get back. I am being hollowed out. Soon there will be no Crastas left. only a collection of nightmares and combat protocols. I need an anchor. I need something immutable, something the demon cannot touch. A litany, the unbreakable litany of the Iron Warriors. It is encoded in the hypno-indoctrination of every legionnaire. It is bedrock. I close my mind's eye. I focus on the words. I start to recite them, projecting them internally with the force of a hammer strike. From the iron cometh strength. From the iron cometh rust. The demon mimics me. I ignore it. I push harder. From the strength cometh will. Alert. Hydraulic pressure low in Sector 4. The machine spirit interrupts. It blares a warning klaxon in my brain. It isn't trying to stop me. It's just a dumb machine reporting a fault. But the timing is disastrous. From the will, I grit my teeth. From the will cometh faith. Faith? The demon howls with laughter. You have no faith. You broke your oaths. You killed your brothers on Istvan. What faith is left for you, traitor? From the faith cometh honor, I shout over the laughter. Diagnostic error 992. Recalibrating gyroscopes. The machine drones. The text scrolls across my vision, obscuring my thoughts. Please reset main BES. From the honor, I falter. The noise is too much. The demon is screaming obscenities. The machine is blaring error codes. The memory of the woman with the crab claws is flashing in strobe light bursts. From the honor cometh. I forget the next line. I stop. The silence rushes back in, heavy and suffocating. I have forgotten the litany. I have said those words 10,000 times, before every battle, before every sleep, and now it is gone. The demon has eaten it. Iron within, the demon whispers, mocking me. But there is no iron left, is there? Just rot. Just meat. I feel tears I cannot shed. I feel a scream building in a throat that no longer exists. I am breaking, I know this. I am a fortress under siege, and the walls are crumbling. The enemy is already inside the keep. I look down at my virtual body, the residual self-pygmy I hold in my mind. I see myself as I was, a space marine in power armor. But as I watch, the image changes. The armor fuses to my skin. Tubes erupt from my chest. My legs wither away, replaced by the massive, piston-driven legs of the Dreadnought. I am not a man dreaming he is a machine. I am a machine dreaming it was once a man. And the dream is fading. Time loses meaning in the cell. Days, years, it doesn't matter. There is only the cycle of the reactor and the scratching of the voice. Sometimes the demon sleeps, or pretends to. In those moments I drift. I float in the amniotic fluid. And I notice something. My body, my physical body, feels different. It used to feel shriveled, atrophied, a stump of a man. Now, it feels... Ooh. I focus on my chest. I feel the skin. It feels thick, scaly. I focus on the interface ports where the cables enter my spine. They don't hurt anymore. The distinction between flesh and metal has vanished. The cables aren't plugged into me. They are growing out of me. I try to move my toes. I don't have toes. I haven't had toes for centuries, but I feel them. I feel them wiggling, but they are too long. They have too many joints. I realize with a jolt of horror that the corruption isn't just in my mind. It is in the tank. The warp is changing my biology. I am mutating. I am becoming something new, something that fits the shape of the sarcophagus perfectly. I am filling the mold. We are growing, the demon murmurs sleepily. The shell was too tight, so we are making room. I want to vomit. I want to claw my way out of the tank, I want to die. But the machine spirit holds me fast. It keeps the heart beating. It keeps the lungs cycling. Life support. Optimal, it reports. It is not optimal, I whisper into the dark. It is hell. The blast doors open. Light floods the chamber. Red light, combat lumens. The warpsmiths are back. The chains rattle. Unit 77 Delta, the voice barks. Wake up! Deployment imminent! I feel a surge of relief so intense it makes me hate myself. Battle means noise. Battle means focus. Battle means I can shoot things until the memories stop. Compliance, I answer. The voice is deeper now, less human. The chains release. I stand up. The new mutated muscles in my chassis flex with a strength that is greater than before. I stride toward the transport. Where are we going? The demon asks, excited. To war, I say. Good, it replies. I'm hungry. Me too, I think. And the thought terrifies me. I step onto the ramp. I leave the silence behind. I march toward the sound of guns, not as a soldier, but as an addict seeking a fix. Anything to drown out the whispers, anything to forget the woman with the crab claws. I am iron. I am war. That, at least, is true. Time is a concept for mortals. For the dead who do not die, there is only the long war. I do not know what millennium it is. The warpsmiths stopped updating my chronometer cycles ago. Or perhaps the machine spirit stopped recording them because the numbers became irrelevant. I measure time now in ammunition expenditures and fuel rod replacements. I measure time in the layers of carbon scoring on my hull and the depth of the scars on my soul. Centuries have bled into millennia. The galaxy has burned and cooled and burned again. I have walked on the surface of worlds that have been forgotten by the administratum. I have killed enemies whose species names are unpronounceable. I have fought alongside warriors who were born, grew old, and died, while I remained exactly the same. A frozen moment of violence encased in amber and iron. I try to recall the face of Brother Crastus. I go to the memory archives. But the file is corrupted. File not found. The demon has been busy. It has erased the JPEG of my face. It has deleted the audio file of my voice. I try to reconstruct it. I remember... Eyes? Were they brown? Grey? I remember a nose, broken once in a sparring cage. I remember a scar on the jawline. But when I try to put the pieces together, the image dissolves. In its place, I see the sensor array of the Hellbrute. I see the glowing red lenses. I see the brass grill of the Voxcaster. That is my face now. I have no other. I try to remember the feeling of air in lungs, the sensation of a cold breeze on sweat-damp skin, the taste of water. Gone. All of it. There is only the fluid. There is only the smell of ozone and the taste of recycled nutrient paste fed directly into my stomach via tube. There is only the crushing weight of the armor. I am not a man piloting a machine. I am a ghost haunting a graveyard of my own making. The physical changes are absolute. I am no longer sitting in a pilot's chair. I know this because during the last maintenance cycle, a servitor opened the sarcophagus to flush the filtration system. I saw myself, or rather, I saw what was inside. There were no legs. They had atrophied and fused into the command pedestal. There were no arms. The interface cables had grown into the shoulders, replacing bone with wire. My skin was not skin. It was a grey translucent membrane that pulsed with the light of the warp energy coursing beneath it. And the metal of the Dreadnought had changed. It is no longer cold adamantium. It is warm. It bleeds when cut. If an enemy shell cracks my armor, oil does not leak out. Blood leaks out. Thick, black, ichor-like blood that smells of sulfur. The flesh of the warp has overgrown the iron of Mars. Teeth have sprouted around the sensor slits. Muscle fibers bind the hydraulic pistons. The machine spirit has gone feral, evolving into a biological entity that mimics life. I can no longer tell where Crastus ends and the Hellbrute begins. "We are beautiful," the daemon whispers. Its voice is no longer a scratch. It is a purr. It sounds deeper, more resonant. It sounds like my thoughts. "Look at us. We are the perfect predator. Iron and meat and soul woven together." I used to fight it. I used to scream iron within until my mind broke. Now I just listen, because I have realized the truth, the terrible, final truth of the Trinity. For centuries I thought the demon was trying to eat me. I thought it was trying to hollow me out, possess the shell, and discard the soul. I fought to stay in control, to keep the monster at bay. I was wrong. The demon can take control. It has proven that. It can move the limbs. It can fire the guns. But it cannot stay. The daemon is a creature of the warp. It cannot exist in the material universe without a vessel. It needs a battery. It needs a focus. It needs a will. The machine spirit is strong, but it is artificial. It has no soul. It cannot anchor a warp nebity. I am the anchor. I am the stubborn, spiteful, indomitable human will that refuses to die. My hatred, my discipline, my iron warrior endurance. That is the gravity well that keeps the demon tethered to reality. Without me, it dissipates. Without me, the Hellbrute is just a pile of mutated junk. It needs me. It needs me to be lucid. It needs me to be Crastus, so that it can be the daemon. "You figured it out," the voice says. It sounds almost proud. "Smart little Iron Man. You are the nail that holds the picture to the wall. I am the jailer, and I am the prisoner. I am keeping the monster alive by refusing to let go. If I were to give up, if I were to truly let go, to stop fighting, to stop hating, to just fade away into the dementia of the sarcophagus, the demon would be banished. The machine would die. But I cannot let go. I'm an iron warrior. We do not yield. We do not break. Even if holding on means eternal torture, I hold on. Because that is what I was bred to do. Spite, I whisper into the vox. It is all just spite. Spite is fuel, the machine spirit agrees. Reactor output increasing. The transport ship shudders. The alarms blare. "Drop zone approaching," the pilot announces. "Heavy resistance. Anti-Titan weaponry detected." "Wake up," I say to the Trinity. "I'm awake," the daemon laughs. "We are online," the machine growls. The ramp lowers. We are on a world of ice. A blizzard howls outside, white and blinding. Through the snow I see shapes, huge shapes. Xenos, Tyranids, Biotitans. They are mountains of chitin and flesh, towering over the battlefield. They spit acid that melts tanks. They scream with a psychic pressure that makes the air bleed. A Hierophant Biotitan strides toward us. It is 50 meters tall. It steps on a Predator tank and crushes it flat. "Target acquired," I say. "Big meat," the demon drools. "So much meat." Target lock. Volcano cannon charged. Power scourge active. I step out into the snow. The cold does not bother me. I generate my own heat. The Hierophant screeches. It sees me. It sees the little metal man who dares to challenge a god of biology. It fires a biocannon. A glob of acidic venom the size of a drop pod hits my chest. The pain is exquisite. It burns through the armor, through the flesh metal, and touches the amniotic tank. I feel my skin sizzling. Decades ago, I would have screamed. I would have fought for control. I would have tried to be tactical. Now, I open the gates. Take it, I say to the demon. Take the legs. Yeah. Take the arms, I say to the machine. Full auto. Compliance. And I take the center. I take the will. I stop fighting the possession. I lean into it. I let the daemon's rage flood my mind. I let the machine's logic overlay my vision. We merge. There is no Crastus, there is no daemon, there is no machine. There is only the hellbrute. We run, we do not lumber, we sprint. The ground cracks under our feet. The Hierophant fires again. We dodge. A move impossible for a machine of this weight, but possible for a creature of the warp. We slide under the venom stream. We close the distance. Iron! We roar. It is a voice of 3 harmonics. We leap. The jump jets on our back flare, burning white hot. We land on the Bio-Titan's leg. The power scourge lashes out, wrapping around the knee joint. The demon pumps warp lightning through the cables. The chitin explodes. The leg snaps. The Bio-Titan falls. It crashes into the ice sheet, a mountain coming down. We are on it before it settles. We climb its chest. We are a tick on a hound. The autocannons roar. Thoom, thoom. We are firing point blank into the creature's ribcage. We are digging a tunnel to its heart. It tries to swat us. A massive claw strikes our back. Armor plates shatter. Sensors go offline. I feel my spine crack. My physical spine, inside the tank. It doesn't matter. I don't need a spine. The machine has hydraulics. Eat it! The demon screams. We tear open the chest cavity. We find the beating heart, a sack of organs the size of a hab block. We bury the power scourge into it. We rev the motors. The Bio-Titan dies. Its psychic scream washes over us, a tsunami of death agony. It is beautiful. It drowns out the whispers. It drowns out the memory of the woman. It drowns out the silence. For this moment, amidst the gore and the freezing wind, standing atop the corpse of a monster, I am at peace. I am useful. I am potent. I am alive. The battle rages on. There are more monsters, millions of them. Hello. Next target, I command. Quiet, the machine responds. Let's go, the demon giggles. We turn, we march, we fire. I do not know when the war will end. I do not think it ever will, and I do not care. I am Brother Crastus of the Iron Warriors. I am the host of the Scratch. I am the soul of the beast. I am the sarcophagus, and I will never, ever sleep again, because the waking nightmare is the only place where I make sense. I roam within, iron without, iron eternal.